Okay, looks like we are live, gentlemen.
All right, all right.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to episode 207 of the Nerdstravaganza podcast, where we seldom trail far behind the latest cinematic trends. A little foreshadowing for tonight's topic.
Of
That's what our audience really comes here for, my witty foreshadowing.
course.
I'm Tom,
I'm Brian.
I'm Cam.
and tonight we'll be discussing trailers, namely those for the new Star Wars movie. Is it Rogue One? I keep wanting to call it Rogue Squadron, but it's Rogue One, right?
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars story, Rogue
Right.
One.
Yeah. So there you go. A Star Wars story known as Rogue One, and Doctor Strange, which is Marvel's new offering, and apparently a fan favorite because it's got a lot of what we call pop on the internet. So we'll be discussing those. But first, here's a little trailer of our own. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Thank you. End of trailer. And now on with the show without further ado. And Brian, why don't you kick us off with the weekly weekly update? What have you been up to, man?
Comic books. The C3PO comic came out this week.
Huh?
Kind of excited about that. I'm very anxious to find out why he has a red arm in the movie, and why we're not supposed to recognize him. There's actually a lot of buzz. What do you call it? Poe Dameron came out last week, and I mean everybody's kind of excited about it, but fairly quiet release. Maybe because people expected it to be good, and I don't know if people were like really looking forward to like the 3PO comic book as much. But a lot of people like really surprised. It's apparently a very good story, and we'll see. I have to read that. Been working on the website, which is kind of exciting. That is coming right along. I'd say another week or so,
Cool.
and we'll have a brand new fancy website for everybody.
Excited
And
about that.
yeah, I don't know. Once upon a time, I remember being excited about the current website and like, wow, it's cool, we have this. I'm happy to get rid of it now. Like, I guess times change.
Mm.
Playing Black Desert a lot, which is kind of weird because you can auto travel. It's almost like fast travel in Skyrim or something, but it's not fast. Like, your character actually runs without you at the controls, but it still takes like 15 minutes to cross, from one city to the next or whatever. So a lot of free time during that, and I've been kind of researching cosplay and armor and how to make for that. I don't necessarily want to cosplay anything at MegaCon, but I'd kind of like to have something made by then. Just, whatever, as a goal, something neat. I was thinking, I have no idea where I'd get good reference for this, but I was thinking Valis armor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the old, well, no, not the old TurboGrafx covers. Those were bad. Maybe some of the original Japanese artwork, I guess.
Yeah, I'd have to like dig that up. Yuko was her name, right?
Yeah.
Char and Yuko.
Yep.
I'll look.
Cool, man. So, I have a kind of semi-related story to our past, or regarding our past to talk about when I get to my turn. But, so current new books are Poe and C-3PO.
Well, Poe last week, 3PO this week. A new issue of Darth Vader came out this week, but that's not like a new book, so.
Got to make sure I'm up to date. I'm still behind on the reading, but I got to make sure I collect them all because God knows some rare character makes an appearance. You'll never get a first edition.
I'm pretty happy with the covers lately. The normal cover, the not expensive cover for 3PO is really killer.
Cool.
So at least they're making it a little bit easier to collect neat things instead of like have some crap cover and then the good ones 1 in 50.
Yeah, I haven't been dissatisfied with the artwork. Some of the variants are awesome, but there's only so much I'm willing to pay for a stupid hobby that I don't need to have. Anything else, man?
That's about everything.
All right, looking forward to that new site. It does look great. And Cam, with that said, over to you, man. What have you been up to?
Oh man, I had some family stuff to deal with. I had a wedding this past weekend. I took the companion to that, but it wasn't really geeky or nerdy, unfortunately. But other than that, went to the Tate's semi-annual sale. That was actually kind of last week, but I just forgot to mention it in my update last week. But I got a bunch of stuff, really good stuff, super cheap. Got a bunch of really cool figs, and some other cool things. It was actually my companion's first Tate's sale, which is, for those that don't live in South Florida, it's a very large comic hobby novelty shop down here that they have these awesome tent sales once a year, or semi-annually, I guess. So I got some good stuff there. I've been playing a lot of tabletop games, like always, doing a lot of trading on Board Game Geek. I got some really cool trades. I got Fury of Dracula, the first edition, which has these really cool, like, pewter figures. So I'm excited about that. Lap Dance, which I prominently displayed last week, I was able to score a bunch of promos for that on Board Game Geek. That came actually yesterday, which is pretty cool. Let's see, what else geeky have I been doing? I've been constructing my new upstairs loft gaming studio play media area.
Nice.
And that's coming along quite well. I think by next week's episode, I was hoping to get it this week, but by next week's episode, that's where I will be broadcasting from, and we'll also be hopefully doing all of our other video content from, in terms of our game reviews and all stuff like that. And then just in advance, I want to let everyone know, Tabletop Day is the 30th. It's coming up soon. And by the time we're airing on the 13th, but by the time the audio podcast comes out, it'll only be about a week and a half, 2 weeks until April 30th, International Tabletop Day. Don't forget about that. At the Adventure Game Store down here in South Florida. Make sure you, if you're in the area, you stop by. It's in Davie, Florida. And I think that's about it for my Geekly Weekly.
Nice, man. Sounds like lots going on.
Yeah. Oh, and I pounded my companion in Ticket to Ride. No match for me.
I thought she was your match in all of the games.
She's a match in many other areas, but Ticket to Ride, she gets schooled.
Good job. Okay, that brings it around to me, and I haven't been up to much. Just up here in Seattle. Went to the Emerald City Comic Con. No. It's awesome, and like this year, I don't mind saying it was basically just a big shopping mall for my companion and I. Like, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like, lots of awesome stuff to buy and see. There were panels, there were some celebrities, but the line for the signings and the panels, they just get really out of hand. And I'm willing to wait in line at theme parks, but conventions, I just don't have the patience for it. And I also don't really get celebrities. Like, I know who they are and I like their work, but I don't really see the appeal of like shaking their hand and getting a photo. Maybe as a memento, but I've never really gone for that. Thankfully, neither does my companion. And so we basically just went around checking out all of the awesome stuff that the various vendors had, and I picked a few things up. I'm going to show and describe for the benefit of both our video and audio fans, let's say. I can't say listeners or viewers. Yeah.
Did they have like a pretty big artist alley, or was it like
Oh yeah. It was huge. Huge artist alley, huge vendor space. Like, it's in the same convention center where they hold PAX, so there's lots of space. And I mean, you don't want to walk away from a booth. Like, everybody has something you want. I could like break myself in this place, and I did not. But I picked up a few cool things along the way. So I'll just briefly go over a few of them.
Sweet.
First, and this is for the benefit of our audio listeners, I'm showing a T-shirt and I believe it is by a company called Steam Crow, and it's a Tesla soda shirt, basically with Nikolai Tesla, and he's advertising a soft drink, if I recall correctly.
Nice.
Yeah, he's holding a bottle there on the T-shirt. So really cool. It's in red, not normally a color I would wear, but decided to branch out.
I like it.
Apologies to our audio and video listeners for all the crinkling. That was in a bag, and so is this next monstrosity that I'm about to show. It is a gigantic slime, plush slime from Dragon Quest. I do love Dragon Quest. Fits nicely on the head, and I guess it's a pillow, but I walked around with it on my head for a while after I bought it. It's pretty gigante and pretty awesome too. So also not something an adult man like me needs, but you never can have enough slime paraphernalia, I guess. Can't wait to unpack him when I get home. For my companion, I don't have the actual article on me, but I bought an adorable little creature known as a seedling by an artist who I think Instagrammed last year when I was at the convention. And they are these cute little creatures with either pine cone or like acorn heads, and they're either giving you these like sad puppy dog eyes or they're smiling. Either pose you choose, they are really cute, and you will want to take one home. And my companion, as I predicted, wanted one as soon as she saw one. And so we got her one. They are really cool. I think it's Little Brigade is the name of the vendor. The artist's name eludes me at the moment, but check them out. Check out Seedlings. They're super cute. And let's see. I think I have another T-shirt I'd like to show off. I actually don't recall from what vendor this was. It was I'll have to get it up for the show notes, but. And you can't quite make it out, but it's this kind of Seattle-themed shirt with like a robotic theme. I was like, colors, pretty, I'll take one. Pretty awesome. And they didn't have it in a massive size I require, so I'm going to have to lose weight. Which is a laudable goal under any circumstance. So all of those things, and held back on one thing that I really have been eyeing, because they offer these things in a box that says adoptions with a price, and they're these little tentacle kitties, and they're basically little plush kittens with tentacles. But my companion, we exercise restraint thanks to her. Apart from that, we got a whole bunch of art to put up on our walls. I got her some cool jewelry, and she has a really cool art book she got, I believe, from the same booth where I got that T-shirt I just showed with the cool robotic Seattle theme. However, that book is being used to hold up my laptop as we record here at the temporary Red Door studio in Seattle, so I cannot show it, but it is cool. Take my word for it. And that's it. Like, I think we could probably do an episode on why they don't just have a geek mall with nothing but this stuff for sale. I'm guessing the novelty would wear off and people wouldn't be so apt to spend, you know what I mean?
Well, it would have like a huge first like month, and then
Right.
everybody would be broke and not able to shop at it again. So
Right. People can come and spend because they've waited all year for this thing, right? So yeah.
Well, that's sort of what they have at it used to be called Festival Bay. I don't know if it's the same one. I don't know if that's what they call it now in Orlando, where Gods and Monsters is.
Oh, that mall?
Yeah, it's like a indoor indie. It's basically just Brian. You've been there. It's like just an indoor artist out. The whole mall is like an artist alley almost. Very few actual stores anymore. It's just a whole bunch of like people with their wares set up. You know, you go one place and find really cool like stencil art, and then go to the next place and it's like honey. You can buy like honey. The next place you can buy like beeswax candles. Like, you know, just a bunch of really weird, cool stuff.
The sad and lonely soap vendor in the corner being ignored.
Yeah.
By the people that most need the soap, right?
Right.
I don't know. I permanence might take away some of the magic for people.
True.
I don't know. I like to think I would be a regular patron. I would definitely be broke.
I imagine consistent stock is kind of difficult too.
Oh yeah, so it's something different every time you go back.
Well, I mean, it probably takes a while to make art,
Oh,
to make the jewelry, to make I mean, I don't know about T-shirts. That probably doesn't take a whole lot of time, but
that might be a good thing though, because people go back and there's new merch always on offer. Anyway, look for the Ganza marketplace to debut soon.
Yeah. Well, I think you hit it on the head though, Tom. I think when we go to Artist Alley, we all want to feel like we got that one-of-a-kind item,
Yep.
when in reality we didn't. I mean, 99.999 times out of 100 we didn't. But I mean, at least we feel like we did.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you keep going back and you see the same thing you just bought 2 weeks ago up there, for sale again, it's like
Yeah, you'd have to
the
really do
luster.
limited.
Yeah, the luster wears off.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you went back and the thing you wanted was no longer there, you'd be trained to you better buy while you can. You don't know if it's going to be here. So, uh,
Yep.
anyway, I thought maybe we could discuss that in a future episode. But that's it, man. Emerald City Comic Con, really cool, awesome cosplay. I took some photos. Probably throw them up on social media, but I'd like to have some fodder for the new photo gallery. I know we've discussed on the new and improved website in coming weeks. So probably still throw some stuff up in our social media. Man, people really never fail to impress me with their cosplay. Like, it's really crazy what they do.
I love the mashups that people are doing. Like, some people are just so creative that now that everybody's dressing up as the character, that's not enough anymore. Now they have to do like slave Leia Disney princesses or Disney princess Mario characters, or it's unreal.
It's cool. It's cool.
Well, technically, Slave Leia is a Disney princess now.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah, I was told that by like a 10-year-old. Like she knew all the Disney princesses, and then and Leia at the time was the newest one. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, she's a princess. Disney owns Star Wars, and I'm like, okay, you got it. I'm not gonna argue. But that's when it struck me that Slave Leia is kind of problematic because like these little girls now like Leia, they look up to her, and then there she is in like a bikini, chained to a space slug. That's kind of not to be like Mr. PC, which I am not, but I see why Disney might want to downplay that particular incarnation of Leia.
Absolutely. Didn't we do a story where like there's no more, like they're not like having those, like they're getting all those toys off the market?
No more official Slave Leia merchandise ever.
Which, again, I get that you don't want to have it on the shelf next to Rey and BB-8, but they could probably do a line for adults. There are some adult elements of Star Wars, and people like that character and whatever. I'm sure they'll edit her out of their future releases of the movie.
I think they did talk about that.
Oh God, that's dumb. Anyway, we can get into a discussion of that some other time, maybe off the air. We don't want to lose our audience. With that said, though, let's jump over to news. News with Cam. It's news with Cam at 7.
The news extravaganza with Cam. I am here, and I'm ready to deliver you some amazing news. Now, you guys, Tom, you are well, I think Brian, you as well. I am not so much, but I think you guys both are really into public transit, right? You like to take public transit whenever possible. Yep. And I've been on these before. I used to live in the Northeast, and they had them even back then. The so-called quiet trains or quiet cars or quiet areas of whatever public transportation you're on, where people aren't allowed to use their cell phone or whatever, listen to loud music or talk or whatever. Well, a Chicago man took this to a whole new level. I guess he was upset that people weren't adhering to the social contract of the quiet area. And so he built a cell phone jammer. And so he basically would just whip it out and turn it on, and everyone's electronics just basically died.
Oh, man.
Just to make sure that he had a very quiet ride on the train. And so he got busted, and I don't think there's any charges or anything pending. Technically, that's like violation of like FCC rule. I don't think he's getting busted for that, but supposedly he got it from China, and it wasn't like he like created it or anything, but like he got it from China and just basically used it. But I don't know, I just thought it was funny. Like, you know, he's like a 63-year-old accountant, and it's almost like a "Hey kids, get off my lawn" like kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, all right.
You can wear headphones. I mean,
They do make noise canceling headphones, but
I understand the impulse cam. I mean, back when Brian and I worked at the game store in the mall, we would get these people come in. They'd go and they just slam their merchandise down. They're yakking on the phone. And like my dream was to have like a button under the desk I could just push to like end their call. Like, sorry to end your call. Like, we're transacting business now. Like, because I find people with cell phones are like animals. But yeah, you cannot jam devices.
Yeah, no word on whether or not he's gonna get any charges against him or fines, but he probably will. They're saying in this article because he, I guess he did the same thing back in 2009 and actually got busted for it, like by the cops. So you know, given that he is a repeat offender, I think they may come down on him.
Those are actually really serious laws too, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, because I mean, just think about it. Like, what if someone was like got injured or something, or got hurt, and you needed to call for help, or you know, like you can really hurt somebody that way.
Yeah, and who knows what else you're jamming besides cell phones with this.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure that's really what the government cares about. Yeah. Well, that and like no, I mean, I think the government's probably like, well, you know, we're bugging you, so you can't jam that. Right. But yeah, so. Speaking of repeat offenders, ransomware, who we speak about pretty often on this podcast, because we love you guys and we never want you to hack us. We just like to, you know, get you out there into the media. They've come up with some new fun ransomware that they're shooting out to everyone. You guys remember the movie, the Saw movies with Jigsaw?
Yeah.
And Billy, the little crazy guy on the tricycle with like the spiral like cheeks and whatever. That is apparently their newest iteration of ransomware. Before it was just like, okay, you know, we've got your stuff. We're going to delete your files if you don't send us like, you know, $200 in Bitcoin in the next whatever, you know, couple days. Now Jigsaw ups the ante and says, "Hey, would you like to play a game? If you do not send us Bitcoin within the next 24 hours, we're going to delete 1,000 of your files, and then for every hour after that, we're going to delete another 1,000." So it really like ups the ante and like puts the pressure on you to send them money to release your files.
Oh, wow! So
be careful what you're downloading.
They've got your files encrypted, and regardless of whether you're online or not, there's a timer that's going to just wipe them.
Yes, the timer is counting down. Jigsaw, the little face of Billy is just sitting there and laughing at you and telling you, "All right, you got this much time. The counter's counting down. Better send us some money." And your files are being destroyed.
I have to admit, it's kind of cool in a way, but I would be pissed and kind of impressed at the same time.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, you got me for $150, fine, whatever. Okay, let's move on over to other people getting screwed over. The Oculus Rift has decidedly botched their launch of shipments.
What happened?
They are going to be delayed for months and months and months.
Ouch.
Some people are getting them. Some people are not getting them. Apparently, the people that are getting screwed the worst are the early adopters, the ones that like backed on Kickstarter in the very beginning.
They're not getting theirs first?
No, they had all these pre-orders, and I guess like the way they set up their fulfillment system, I guess the people that ordered pre-ordered on Kickstarter are getting theirs from a different place than the other people that like ordered on pre-order a couple months ago when it first came out, and or for a retail sale. So all these other people are getting them, and these Kickstarter people are not going to get theirs until like June, July, August even.
That sucks.
Wow.
I know. And they basically released a statement that says Kickstarter backers were changing our order history to show TBD instead of the date as the date that was applicable to the time in which we imported your orders. We've already fulfilled a large number of orders and more are being fulfilled on a regular basis. Your rifts are coming from a different location, basically, which has caused the backup. So what they have done, which is kind of a paltry, action in my opinion, is they waived they're basically refunding them their shipping costs. But I mean, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, okay, so you're not charging me, you're giving me back $20-$30, but I've got to wait 4-6 months, and all my friends are playing with their Oculus Rifts.
You have to wonder if that decision's not like, we have this lower cost source, but they're going to take longer to get online. We already have these people's money versus retail units we're shipping that we're making a profit on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that decision had to be made at some point to like screw these guys because we already have their cash, right?
Yeah, and that sort of segues into the other, which I wasn't even going to bring up, but I have to bring up because Brian, you and I talked about this last night, and it just burns the shit out of me. The Kickstarter for the tabletop game for Ghostbusters was like one of the biggest debacles ever on Kickstarter because of cool mini or cool, what is it, cool mini or not?
Cool mini or not.
I should know, yeah. They made millions and millions of dollars on this Kickstarter, and they absolutely botched it in terms of like getting their backers the games. I mean, the game was like out in retail for months before a lot of their backers got their games. And then when they got the games were awful. I mean, that game sucks. I'm sorry. Like, Cool Mini or not, like, I hope I'm not like destroying a sponsor like possibility ever, but like, whatever. Let's be honest. Like, that game sucks. And the minis are terrible. The production quality sucks. The game sucks. Like, it just sucks. I mean, in my opinion, in my humble opinion.
A lot of people's opinion.
Right. And so you paid over $100 for this game, and then you can buy that game now for like $40 anywhere.
That sucks.
And with all the extras, with everything that there's the so-called exclusives or whatever, you can get that game so cheap now, and you didn't even get it before retail people got it. So. Okay, that happens. I get it. People make mistakes. I'm willing to say Cool Mini or not. Okay, learn from that experience and then whatever. Well, they're never going to learn when they just put up 2 days ago their Ghostbusters 2 campaign, and they have already made like a gajillion dollars.
I mean, funded in like 6 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah. They within like the first like 24 hours, they were like already at like $1 million, like so much money.
I mean.
People just aren't learning. People are just throwing money at bullshit.
Yeah, I don't blame the. I mean, I do to a certain extent blame the people delivering the not so quality product, but people are going for it. So I don't, consumers are to blame.
Yeah,
ultimately.
I mean, the only way they're going to learn is if you hit them in the pocket, and it's not working if you're just going to keep throwing copious amounts of cash at them for giving you subpar and shitty products and service.
I swear to God, I thought Ghostbusters 2 was an April Fool's joke.
Yeah, no, and it's so funny. It's $100 for this bot, and the only thing that you're getting really is like you're getting like a limited edition glow in the dark box, like ectoplasm green like dice that glow or something like that. It's ridiculous. But if you want to throw your money away, head on over to Kickstarter and back them.
Wow.
Speaking of getting screwed over, there is Rockstar Games, Grand Theft Auto, huge. Everyone loves it. I love it. Everyone loves it. The guys that founded that company, the Hauser brothers, Sam and Dan Hauser, I guess they founded it with this other person, Leslie Benzies, and I can't tell if Leslie is a man or a woman. I don't want to offend anyone if it's a woman, but Benzies, we'll call him or her, apparently took a sabbatical after Grand Theft Auto 5 launched, and well, that was the story. It turned out to be a 17-month sabbatical, and then now we're finding out that the reason why it was was said to be a sabbatical was not really a sabbatical, but I guess the Hausers were trying to force Benzies out of the company.
Oh.
To the tune of $150 million not being paid to Benzies. And so, understandably, Benzies is upset and has been suing Rockstar Games and the brothers and Take-Two Entertainment. There's a couple other, involved entities. And that lawsuit is just started and is going to be ongoing. So, I mean, it's a lot of money at stake, big games at stake, big company at stake. So it's in the U.S. District Court right now. So I'll follow that and make sure I report back to you guys on the legal front with what's going on at Rockstar and the Grand Theft Auto franchise. Apparently, Benzies owed a bunch of money in terms of royalties for that game because he or she is really the one that pushed that to launch and made it such a success. So we'll see.
So Cam, without having any knowledge, I won't expect that you'll be able to give any details, but clearly they feel like they have some legitimate reason not to pay this individual and to try to force this individual out of the company, right? I mean, they wouldn't just do this to be dicks. You wouldn't put like your company in danger.
You'd be surprised, man. In my career since 2002, I've seen just greed is a really, really big motivator, and people just don't care. Sometimes people just don't care. They're just like, okay, sue us, sue it. You want your money? Sue us. We owe you 150 million. Okay, even if you do sue us, maybe we'll settle for a third of that with you. Or that's what they're thinking. Yeah, and we're gonna pound you with lawyers until you submit, basically.
Yeah, and then you have to pay your own legal staff for what you get at. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's a business decision a lot of times. It's like, well, we could pay this guy this person 150 million, or we can just screw him over in court, pay him 50 million, pay our lawyers 10 million, and we get out. We've got a net $90 million profit. Yeah, I mean, I guess there was it says, in the article that I guess there was a lot of resentment between the brothers that this person Benzies was making more money than the brothers and receiving the same compensation, but then you shouldn't have made that deal in the first place.
Right. That's what I don't get. I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying. You've explained this before that.
Yeah.
There's settlement and there's a business decision and you can come out a certain way, but if you're entitled to a certain percentage of the pie per your agreement, that's what you should get in my simple world. And unless you were a total fuck up and did no work in exchange for your share or something.
Right. I mean, apparently they even froze Benzies out. He or she showed up to go to work and key card didn't work and they're like, yeah, peace out. Maybe you're not even allowed in the building. And not only that, but these guys are ballsy enough to the Hauser brothers did their counterclaim. They've they're countersuing Benzies, basically saying, well, you left the company without good reason and you're not entitled to any of this money, and so it's getting pretty ugly. And but I will say that Benzies hired a law firm called Lock Lord, which is they're pretty hardcore. They're really prestigious and they're a really good law firm. So.
Rock Lord?
Lock, L-O-C-K-E.
Lock Lord.
Lord, L-O-R-D-E. They actually even sound pretty cool.
They sound hardcore, yeah.
Lock Lord.
Got
Lock
two
and
words
Lord.
for you. Yeah.
So that's that's on the legal front. Just two more quick ones. I guess now they're going to have, they have these breathalyzers in cars where you have to blow on them before you can start the car for repeat booze offenders. Well, now they have a textalyzer that will be able to determine whether or not you were texting while driving or while in an accident or something like that. New York is on the vanguard of that, and so if you're in New York and you're texting, you better watch out. If you cause an accident, they might they might be able to find out with their textalyzer.
They should. The car should drive you into a ditch.
Yeah. And then finally, in some good news, an Icelandic company has come up with a biodegradable bottle made out of algae. While there's liquid inside of it, it's solid. But as soon as the bottle is empty, it begins to dissolve. And it's made out of algae. And so as soon as you're done with it, it just immediately starts to biodegrade, and within a very short amount of time, it's back to the earth, basically.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's don't know yet if it's a viable alternative to plastic, but we need something, obviously, because plastic is just choking us out, basically.
Yeah, it's bad news, man. Seriously.
So yeah, I figured I'd end on a high note with some good news, and it's I try to segue in with a little bit with the Doctor Strange, because it's sort of, if you look at the picture in the article, it's sort of like a magic shrinking bottle, they have a time lapse thing, and hopefully that leads us into Doctor Strange.
It does, and I'll take that as a segue. That leads us into Doctor Strange, and let's tackle that trailer first. So before we get into it, I should ask, are either of you big fans of the comic?
I have about 60 Doctor Strange comics from when I was a kid. I enjoyed Doctor Strange, when I was a kid. He wasn't definitely wasn't in my top 5, maybe not even top 10, but I did enjoy Doctor Strange.
What about you, Brian?
No, I don't think I've ever read anything. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm aware of the character, and I'm sure I played him in some video games or whatever, but I've never really read a book.
That's more or less my position too. So I think as nerds we're supposed to claim knowledge of things. I know every bit of the backstory, but no, I'll cop to that one. I was so comic reader growing up. I knew certain franchises and properties and characters, and I knew of that character, but can't claim intimate knowledge. So Cam, you are the expert for purposes of parsing out the trailer.
Certainly not an expert, but there was a series of comics back when we were younger. Like it was called What If. It was like a What If. I can't remember. Yep. Where it was like, what if Wolverine didn't do this or whatever, and it shows you sort of like alternate timelines or storylines or whatever. And that sort of got Doctor Strange featured pretty prominently in several of those, and that's sort of what got me into him. But what I like about Doctor Strange is that it took you away from the mutant sort of thing, or like the metahuman or whatever they're calling it now, area where. If you look at Batman, Batman's just a regular dude. Like obviously he's a billionaire playboy, but like, he has he's just a guy. Like you could put someone in a bat suit and conceivably he could do what Batman did. The mutants, they were mutated by whatever, whatever it was in the whether it was Darwinian or whether it was 3 Mile Island or whatever, they mutated and they got these powers. Doctor Strange is a purely supernatural hero, if you want to call it, for lack of a better term. So instead of having these, abilities given to him either by nature, nurture, or nature, science, whatever, he is somehow now in the realm of the supernatural. And so I'm really excited to see how Marvel deals with that. And you can see a lot of that in the trailer, where it's sort of he was a doctor, he helped a lot of people with his hands, he helped a lot of people with science. That was taken away from him, and now he's forced to look at the supernatural.
So do you think that they will just let magic be magic, or do you think they're going to try to explain it away with like magic knights, like little nanites that are in the atmosphere that some alien left here or something crazy stupid like that?
I don't know. It looks. I mean, just from the trailer, and I'm just going on the trailer because I hate spoilers. I only watched the trailer just because for the show.
Yep.
Just going off the trailer, it looks like it's very like Far East mysticism. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they'll have some sort of like, oh well, yeah, okay, this really was some like alien tech left behind by whatever that was causing this or whatever. But it looks to me like, he's like traveling to the Far East and trying to figure out how to, harness this, magical power or supernatural power.
I hope it's just magic. I don't want it to have I don't want it to be midichlorians,
Right.
This is Marvel Cinematic Universe, right?
Marvel? Yeah.
No, but I mean like officially like Cinematic Universe, like
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they have gods and they have like other magical beings. Maybe they'll stick to just pure magic.
I hope so. They didn't like knock you over the head with it, but I felt like the Asgardians were portrayed as aliens, like they're powerful aliens from another world.
Or like a different dimension. Yeah.
Yeah, you refer to us as gods, but okay, so I'm willing to let them kind of hand wave away that mysticism, but I hope this is just magic. I don't know. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. Like you are the person I have known longest in the world, and our viewpoints are so different. I really thought they were just trying to explain like how you can call Thor a god, but I mean he is a god as most people know it. Could just I win, like.
Oh yeah.
I thought they were trying to explain that away. Like I'm not really like a god. I'm like this other, like. I didn't think they were trying to diminish that really. I just thought they were trying to like justify not being super, super powerful.
Omnipotent. Yeah, okay. That's an interesting take on it, Brian. I didn't think about it that they were setting expectations, I guess, right?
Yeah, because I mean, I think especially with people who don't go into comics, you say like this guy is a magician. Oh, like Harry Potter. Like,
Is he
how do
like
you
a?
explain that? How do you explain it?
I don't know. Cam, is the character like a wizard basically, or what's the deal?
Yeah, I mean, he is a. Uh, yeah, I mean, if you want to call it a wizard, yeah. I mean, he basically practices like the dark arts.
He's
You know?
Yeah.
sorcerer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I should. There's a difference between a wizard and a sorcerer. I should. I did not.
Yeah, he's not like Gandalf, but he conjures, these powers.
Okay. Um. No, I have hope. I have hope that this will be a little bit. This will be something different. It'll be a chance for me to get to know this character better, and maybe, yeah, somebody that doesn't have the superhuman or alien origin for their powers. That could be cool. That could be really cool.
Well, I mean, it's, and I think they sort of allude to it in the trailer. Like, he was like a talented neurosurgeon, and then his hands get all effed up, and then he seeks like this knowledge from all these other sorcerers like around in the different Marvel, in the different Marvel world, and he basically just becomes a sorcerer himself.
Cool. Yeah, and it definitely is showing at the beginning of the trailer that he is a man of science and skeptical about mysticism, as you indicated. So
Right.
that should be some interesting character development, and then he'll be in the next Avengers movie. So we're done.
Yeah.
Uh, the cast of Avengers movies is ballooning to at an uncomfortable rate already, for the record. So, um,
They're like, yeah, they're multiplying very quickly.
anyway, yeah, okay. So Doctor Strange. Anything else you guys want to say about that? I'm looking forward to it.
I don't know a whole lot about it or anything, but that trailer looks like a movie like that I would watch. I mean, if you just called him like Guy Weird or something like that, like I would still be interested. Like this looks like a cool thing that people can enjoy.
Yeah, I think even if it wasn't part of the Marvel cinematic universe, if this was just a standalone movie and that trailer aired, I'd be like, this looks cool. I'll go check this out.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So I think we're all maybe not so cautiously optimistic about this one, at least from the trailer. It looks good.
Well, plus, I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he'll do well with it.
Oh yeah, that guy, he can act. He's actually good at the acting.
Yeah.
It's easy for me too. Like, how bad can it be? I have no expectations.
Yeah, yeah,
True.
yeah. It's not like it's The Hobbit or something, right?
Right. I mean, it didn't live up to the book. I've never read a book. I don't care. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Are you gonna prep yourself by doing any reading beforehand, Brian, or just go in knowing nothing?
no, I'll probably just go in knowing nothing. I'm not gonna like look up any old books or anything.
Yeah, me too. It's nice to go in as a content virgin sometimes, and I will maintain my Doctor Strange virginity until I see the film. So should be good.
Very cool.
And speaking of virgins, nothing screams virgin like Star Wars, right? So let's segue seamlessly into a discussion of what is it? Rogue One, a Star Wars tale, Brian?
A Star Wars story.
Story. Okay, all right. The trailer looks great. I mean, they seem to know how to make these Star Wars movies.
Looks awesome. Yeah.
I watched it just before I watched it again just before we did the episode, and this isn't the most masculine thing to admit or whatever, but the piano rendition,
Yes.
I fucking teared up. That is just so killer.
Yeah.
It's everything that we're used to Star Wars, just different, and I love that whole idea. It is our Star Wars, but it's different.
Yeah, I hope with these in between movies, in between the major installments, they have a little. I mean, each stands alone with a tone all its own. I would like that, and at least from the piano got me. Just the overall tone of this movie seemed like it still fits with the broader Star Wars universe, but it's on its own in a way. I don't know. This movie seemed to be standing on its own two legs in terms of the way it felt. I don't know how else to put it.
I think this is. We don't know for sure, but seriously, 7, probably 8, I'm sure 9 are Skywalker stories. Right? I mean, that's what we're used to in these movies.
Yeah.
There's no Skywalkers in this.
Yeah, this is the unsung heroes of the rebellion, if you will, the people who actually made it possible to destroy the Death Star. And right, that is what I read from the trailer. That's what the consensus is. Am I off base? That is what this is about, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think these are the guys that are like spies to get the to help get the plans.
Okay.
And
The good people, the lot of good people that died to get them the plans of the
Yeah.
Death Star.
Well, when I first heard of what this was about, even before I'd seen the trailer, I was reading trailer spoilers, if that's a thing. I was like, oh, cool, we get to see Bothans, and then I remembered, oh no, that was the second Death Star that the Bothans died for, so no Bothans. Just people, just humans. Oh wait, Bothans are people too. Oh, that was space racist of me. Thanks.
Bothan lives matter.
Yes. But this should be good. I think. All in all, I thought it looked really cool. What's with all the big name actors rolling in too? Like,
Forrest
That was
Whitaker.
out of nowhere, was it?
yeah, yeah. Um, it's is Forrest Whitaker a villain or a good guy? It sounds like he's a good guy, an anti-hero type guy. I don't know. What do you guys
Well,
think?
I think this is really interesting because it opens up a lot of room for like people not involved in good guy bad guy.
Mm.
I mean, seriously, no matter who you are, if you're not involved in the rebellion and the Empire shows up and starts shooting, are you going, oh, well, my time's up, I'm going to die?
Mhm.
Or are you going to start shooting back?
Good point. Good point. Yeah. Um, so you think that he may represent a character who's sort of in a gray zone, perhaps, Brian, or you're hoping?
I kind of hope so. That's the tone I get from the movie. Like, I don't think this is going to be spaceship battles with, the general here and the Moff in that ship and fighting. I think this is going to be, like, very gritty, like, almost, I guess they call it Fringer in the world.
Mm.
Like, Fringer kind of stuff where people have to go undercover, people have to sneak, and they can't just fight, and it looks like there could be a lot of gray area, a lot of like gritty subterfuge, and I mean even what's her name? It's not Jan, it's Janice, Jonah.
The hero. The
Yeah,
hero. Yeah.
heroine.
Yeah. Yeah, she struck you as a troubled youth that the rebellion was trying to set straight and give her a purpose. So
Kind of, but I mean she's not really a rebel, is she? I mean she's kind of like a conscript.
yeah, or almost a merc. Like it seems like they were talking her into it.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
she?
maybe like if she was like had done all those things, like all right, here's your choice, do this or go to wherever.
Go to rebel prison.
Yeah.
And even her response is, yes, sir. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a rebellious teen. This is a rebellion. Come on now. That actress. Look, I'm not good with stars. Like I know Forrest Whitaker. Like okay, but I don't know this actress, and she seems like I've seen her in other stuff. The main hero.
Felicity Jones?
Yeah, is that her name?
Yeah, she was in The Theory of Everything.
Okay.
She was in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
couldn't have been that then.
Trying to think of what else. Yeah.
She looked
Trying to
familiar.
think of what else she's been in. She's been in a bunch of stuff, but like nothing like where she was like the crazy lead. You know what I mean? Like, shit. What the hell was she in? What else is she in? She's been in a lot of stuff. Felicity Jones. I mean, she's like one of those like not so well known but known actresses, and now they're like sort of. She just got thrown to the forefront.
That makes sense because I look at her face. I'm like I've seen her somewhere. I just can't place it. So she wasn't instantly recognizable to me. And
Yeah,
so
she was Jane Hawking in The Theory of Everything, which I think was her most recent, probably biggest thing that she did.
Okay. Who is playing the I guess Moff or whatever that was in all white? Is that a known actor?
Genevieve O'Reilly. You know who at first I thought it was Lena Headey, who plays Cersei in the Game of Thrones.
Wait, okay. I think we might be talking about different. I'm talking about
He's talking about Mon Mothma.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay,
yeah.
okay,
You're saying
okay,
Mon
okay.
Mothma.
I
Mon
didn't. Yeah, I
Mothma.
didn't hear. Okay, okay.
But you know the Mon Mothma actress, Cam. You know
She's
Yeah,
she was in episode 3, wasn't she?
I believe so.
Oh, did she make an appearance? Okay.
No, actually, I don't think she was.
No, that it was a different actress, right? It's not the
No, I
same
think
one
it's the
from
same
the.
one.
Oh, wow, really? Because she looks like the same age. It's pretty remarkable.
Episode 3, not 6.
1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Oh God.
episode 3.
Oh yeah. What did she can't? You're right. I'm sorry. You
Yeah,
said
you're
3.
right.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
Jedi.
you're right. You're
When
right.
did
She
she?
was.
When did she appear in 3? Like at the end or during in the Senate or something?
Yeah, she was hanging out with Bale, I think.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. So that actress is now playing that role in this movie.
Hmm.
That's cool. I think she looks very similar to the actor from the original trilogy. So good on them for that. And the person I was thinking of was the guy who I called him off. I don't know what his
The
rank
Grand
is.
Admiral, not Thrawn.
Yeah. John is his his name in this movie. Do you think that they're throwing a bone to the fans of those books, Brian, by introducing this character?
I really think they're not legitimizing the EU, but I really think they're using the EU because that dude, except for being blue, looks a lot like Grand Admiral Thrawn. The lead looks just like Jan Ors. Kyle Katarn's like lurking in the background. Kanan from Rebels is now become like the blind Jedi. Oh, spoilers, I guess. It's a month old. You should know by now. From the other books, like they're just changing the names, but they're using the same archetypes.
That's cool. I think that's a great way to get to acknowledge the fans that were invested in the EU and still make it fit with the current universe, isn't it?
I think it's great too, but I've said this before. I love how they're doing it because the whole thing is that's a Star Wars legend. Like you just got the name wrong. Her name's not Jan Ors. It's whatever Jonah.
Jyn Orso.
There you go.
Jynerso.
Or so. Okay.
It-
So
all of the details are there, but through the retellings, you just got some of the details wrong. Like that doesn't make it not canon.
that's a very clever way of handling of weaving it all together.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. Um,
I just
So-
like that Alan Tudyk's in it too.
which actor is that?
He's the guy in Firefly, the guy from Firefly, Nathan Fillion's like sidekick, the red hair guy.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Grand Admiral John, as we're calling him. Do you know that actor? Or it looked a minute like it was for a minute. It looked like it was the guy from House, but it's not. I'm not sure what actor that might be, or if he's a newcomer.
I don't know.
I don't know why, but that character interests me. There's something about an evil person dressed in all white, so that they're obviously like utterly convinced of their righteousness. Just sounds cool.
Did you notice?
What did he have?
It's like an old west like peacekeeper. It's got like a 20-inch barrel. It's huge.
Badass.
He looks like a really serious like I will get this done myself kind of guy. Like he could be fun.
Oh man, I hope so. I'm excited. I'm really like. I want to know more about all these characters. I want to know more about what goes on. I don't know if it was in the trailer or the stills, but at some point was not the heroine. Or am I allowed to use heroine or say hero? Whatever. The main character is. Was she not in Imperial garb?
She was in TIE Fighter
infiltrating?
pilot garb.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So she might be a pilot too, and she might infiltrate. This could be great, man. I'm kind of excited. Like I was really like, these side movies, not. But now after seeing this, I'm kind of pumped, kind of psyched.
The next one's the Boba Fett one, isn't it? Is that?
The next bit in between movie? I don't know. I know they were.
Aren't they
do
doing
one.
Han? I thought they were like casting that one and.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Well, they could potentially be in the same movie depending on.
Yeah.
I'd love to hate Boba Fett, but they're really uh, but between Rebels being such a redemption of Clone Wars and the comics being so good, they're really like breaking away the barnacles of my like curmudgeonly, my bitter curmudgeonhood or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see the Boba Fett movie. That'd be cool. Um, I This is one last segue. I even want to catch up on Rebels because I've heard some cool things about Darth Maul, whose resurrection I objected to strongly initially. So
I hated hearing that he was going to be like, ooh, back, and that was a badass episode. He was a great like character in that.
so I've heard. And have you gone back and watched the Clone Wars stuff? His arc there, Brian, at all?
No, I still haven't. I wanna like do the whole series one of these days, but
You should do it. And again, when you can get past the fact that he's back and has stupid spider legs for a minute and has a stupid brother, it's actually pretty good. So I would check that out. Anyway, we could get into a 4-hour discussion of Star Wars just based on this trailer, but not at all cautiously optimistic, guys, about this one.
no, like I get tingles. Seriously, that one's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm stoked for it, especially after Force Awakens. I mean, they're obviously doing it right.
Man, I'm watching, now that it's out on DVD or whatever. Again, it's my third favorite only because 1 and 2 are like the best movies ever.
Yeah.
That was a really good film.
Yeah, it really was.
Really
So you've
good.
upped your liking to it, because I remember when we did the episode right after, you were like, "Oh, it's a good movie," but
I still have a lot to complain about it. Like it was really derivative, which I don't really like, and I don't know. Like BB-8 kind of bothers me.
Oh,
oh man,
I don't know. Like he's like a little like childlike robot. Like and the thumbs up like lighter. It's a lot to swallow.
God help me, I love that scene, Brian.
Yeah,
like,
that
I
was
believe
awesome.
me, I'm the first one to be like, oh, how, whatever. But yeah,
Cheesy,
it was, that scene with him and Finn was, I thought it was endearing.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like I'm with you guys, Tom, especially you two. Like the cheesiness usually gets to me, but like it's just something about Star Wars being different, And Star Wars is like my childhood. I like that. I will allow myself to laugh at that and be happy about that and not care that it's cheesy. You know what I'm saying?
Too.
Like it makes me. It just makes me happy. I'll totally buy into the cheese. You know what I mean?
I knew when the camera panned to the Falcon when they were trying to get off of what's that crap hole planet called? Jakku. That it was going to be the Falcon. I just knew, but it didn't matter. I was like, yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, so it's because it takes me back to childhood. They can do all the cheesy crap they want. And I'm like, yeah, it's awesome.
As greatest hits as it is, they really captured that magic.
Yeah.
Which is ultimately all that matters.
Yep. And I think this movie is going to take the magic in a new direction, and I think it's going to fit very nicely into the overall history. And I'm looking very much forward to it.
They're doing like everything right. I mean, they're so smart in that they're releasing these like in between movies, so you don't have to wait 2 years. You know what I mean? For the next movie, it's so smart, dude. It's like, and I mean, most of our audience will probably be like, "What? Football?" But like, it's like the NFL. Like they learned a long time ago that like the 4 months of football season is not just something that people want to see. So now like you can turn on the TV any day of the year and get some sort of football coverage. Oh, so it's the scouting combine. We'll check that out. Okay, now it's leading up to the draft and draft analysis. Oh, now it's talking about the contracts that people are signing. You know what I mean? People just if you're into something, you give someone something throughout the whole year, and they're going to eat it up. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
I'm glad they're doing it.
I read an article, and I forgot what publication, that basically said we'll never see the last Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And, between the comics and the show and the movies, if Star Wars is just something that continues throughout my life, and if I have kids, it's something they grow up with and so on, that's cool. That's cool to me.
Awesome.
This is like a dream come true. So.
Love it.
I can't believe that like kids today can sit down with a life-sized, like real physical BB-8 and watch the movie with him. And I
And it
don't have one,
reacts.
but I've heard like he actually like cowers when
Yeah.
Catherine on stage.
Yep.
Like, wow, what a time to be a kid.
It's amazing.
It's awesome, and I'll leave you guys with this little tidbit from Emerald City. There were two things I wanted to mention. One, I was on an escalator, and a lady was dressed as Lum, and,
Wow.
Nice.
and her baby was dressed as Ten, a little character from Urusei Yatsura. That was awesome. Heartbreaking was that the know-it-all in front of me was trying to impress his girlfriend. Oh, they're from Ranma.
Oh, the escalator.
I should have committed a de-escalation, a forcible de-escalation. But that was really cool that like the mom was like that and had her baby dressed as Ten, and I wanted to run up and take their picture, but I was just like, I don't know. I appreciated it. That was cool. Two, and this really ties into this episode, the number of kids walking around dressed as Rey and Kylo Ren, like it's really awesome that the kids today have their own Star Wars and that it's good. I love it. I really love it.
It's really cool.
I don't remember during the Clone Wars the kids having iconic characters that they wanted to cosplay. I mean, people would dress as the Jedi with the little knot and stuff, but and you saw some Darth Maul stuff, but they didn't have the iconic villain and the iconic hero like they do with these movies, in my opinion.
Yeah, very true.
That were their own. So, anyway, Star Wars is like back, and it's going to be here for the foreseeable future. Not that it ever went away, really, but I'm really, really, really happy to live in this galaxy.
Yep, and not one far, far away.
Right. All right, guys, you want to wrap it up then? Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, I will commence the farewell by reminding our listeners that no matter whether you're from the Outer Rim or the Core Worlds, you can check us out weekly on iTunes and Stitcher. We recommend maximum stars, a galaxy worth, and positive reviews.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, add us to your Google circle, and join the Nerdstravaganza Facebook group.
Hop into your TIE Fighter and head on over to the soon-to-be newly revamped Death Star of a website, nerdstravaganza.com. Check out this and all of our back episodes. Jump on your speeder and head on over to YouTube and type in Nerdstravaganza into the handy-dandy search bar. Check out all of our video content. And shoot us an email at nerdstravaganza@gmail.com and let us know what you're most excited about in the Star Wars universe.
And with all that said, Grand Moff Brian, take us away.
I can't do a Chewie. Damn.
That was perfect. And we're done. Good night.
All right, guys. Take care.